I've gone by I guess the username Parallax for a while now with BOID. I started out actually talking with John and a lot of them breaking his applications. And from I think the second or third break-in, John told me that there was a group to join and to start giving him feedback on how I was breaking things and what I was breaking. And from there, I've been involved with the community, and then got invited to the DAC community when that was formed, I think about 8 months ago. And from there, we've grown. It was in the beginning, it was a pretty small group. There was, I think, 6 of us. And from there, we've kind of moved forward to the point where we're starting to get ready to put out another round of NFTs. I think there's been one set of NFTs that have gone out for the BOID DAC. They're pretty closely guarded about what they're going to do and how they're going to interact with not just BOID, but the potential other pieces of BOID that get put out there through other stuff. I think it's Crypto Worlds has a game that's coming that there's some loose connections with. But again, there's so much that can be done with even a simple NFT. The way that BOID is thinking about linking these things, they're working to link these things. It's pretty amazing to me. I think that there may be, I think there still is an auction up for some of the BOID NFTs that are coming that will be again given all of their features and characteristics in the coming months as we solidify what they're going to do and what we're going to do with them throughout various throughout various chains and stuff.
Great. Hi, this is Lisa. That's super exciting. How did you guys all meet each other? Like, how did the DAC get started?
John, I think, was working with Seth and a couple of the other guys, and from there they decided that they wanted to grow from where we were and come on to some of the other more, I guess, emerging pieces of blockchain technology. And from there, John formed our DAC group, and we've been, I guess, going. I think it's 8 months now. It's been a while.
That's great. Do you guys have like elections and invite other custodians? I think I saw you guys have some worker proposals, right?
Correct. There are, I think, 6 custodians right now. I have to double check. 6 custodians, and then our group. I think there's 7 or other people that have been invited as workers. Those people are working on various things. A lot of it's going towards the BOID game that is coming. Some of the workers are Minecraft people that are working on some of the other stuff that we're working on. But a lot of, definitely a great group of people. We're having weekly meetings for the DAC group, and a lot of very interesting ideas are constantly getting thrown around in the group. We're always seeking to add people and grow from where we're at.
Great. Yeah, I noticed there were some non-technical worker proposals too, which was pretty exciting for those of us who can't do all that technical stuff.
And you don't have to be always the most technical person. Remember, my background is I've got undergraduate from Penn State in sociology, and then actually during I guess DAC or while I've been part of the DAC team, I started back at Penn State for a master's in cybersecurity, and I'm going to be working a lot of my personal work for my thesis probably into the crypto communities and stuff, focusing unfortunately on social engineering side of stuff, but still it's a part of the stuff, and I'll be talking a lot, at least my thesis, a lot about this stuff. So it's fun stuff.
Great, that's amazing. You have a serious education in this.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, but again, I've only taken one programming course in my entire life. I passed Python for my undergraduate as a requirement because I didn't want to take some other terrible course that they focused on me needing to take. And I think that BOID is leading the way in opening up to people that aren't aren't those Silicon Valley nerds that are 2 or 3 years of programming experience and all the other stuff. I definitely think that the community understands that not everyone can be a senior DevOps or a senior programmer to get in on it. That we need people of all experience levels to make a community work.
Yeah, that is so true, so true. Speaking of technology, I noticed, and I've heard from Gary, that you guys use DAClify for managing your DAC.
Yes.
And there's a lot of talk throughout DACathon, especially coming up on tomorrow and the next day, about DACs and DAC software. So how's DAClify working for you?
It's actually worked phenomenally well. I had maybe not trepidations, but I had a lot of questions about how it worked. I've been in, it's not going to be the exact same, but I've been in games and other things that have similar theories of spreading out responsibility or voting schemes. And I've known that there had been problems with implementations and stuff, and even code implementations with other solutions that hadn't been maybe thought out or ironed out. DAClify has been amazing. We've had, I think, hundreds of votes at this point in time over our course, and it's been flawless, absolutely flawless, and it's made everything very, very easy. People get on, make sure that they've got their heartbeat so they count in the custodian stuff, and everything else is handled by the group when we have time to do it.
Yeah, I'm just opening it. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes.
Great, great. There it is. Oh, clap for the group. All right. I don't know if I'm logged in. I'll do that after. But so here's the proposals. A lot of people are asking because there's several groups that want to start DACs. They have a shared interest or mission that are coming up in the next couple of days. And so there's a lot of questions about what is a DAC and why a DAC, and if a DAC, what do we use, and things like that. So I think it's really helpful for people to see and understand as much as possible as they're getting into it. Why is there a reason that you guys picked a DAC as opposed to another structure like a company or an organization?
It's a really good question. I think that John wanted to be as publicly transparent as possible, and that this allowed it. It made it so, in theory, everyone is accountable and is somewhat forward facing, and still able to remain with some amount of anonymity, or as much as anonymity as you can have in a system like this, because there is, I guess, some anonymity that is lost. But again, it's worked flawless for us. I've been paid through the DAC since we started 8 months ago now, and everything that we've done has gone through the DAC. The consensus for voting, executors. I mean, it's absolutely been the best tool for us as a group, especially considering we have people. I'm Eastern time zone. We have people in every foreseeable time zone that you can imagine, and some of us aren't able to meet because of conflicting schedules. So it gives us a way to make sure that it's not just a phone call and a yes or a no. We actually have proof in the DAC of who's voted what way on what proposals.
Yeah, that's great. I see you have a lot of people, a lot of activity in here. Was the token created to be able to issue rewards to people who did work, or was there a different intention with the token? Because that's one of the things that keeps coming too, is how can people be rewarded for their work? And in a DAC, you know, do they need to be, does it need to be the token of that DAC, or can a different token be used? Do you happen to know or have any thoughts on that?
I believe the way that it works with DACify, it can be any token put into the wallet, and all you need to do when you set up the payroll accounts for the individual is signify which token they're being paid out. And I'm not 100% sure, but I remember we've talked about it, that there's even or possibly a way to set it up to pay someone out with an NFT or something, if you should hold NFTs as well.
Yeah, that's the new thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants. Yeah, I can see it's got EOS on here. Okay, that's really interesting. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in that. So in terms of, I mean, everyone obviously, as we're looking at this, but I'm still thinking back to what you mentioned, I couldn't help but hear the word game in there. And I know that's been a super hot yet secret topic. What is the BOID game going to be? We've been trying to get it out of, he won't spill. So
I think we're technically still not talking about it, but there definitely is a game in the works. It's, I mean, without saying a lot or without spoiling a lot for when the announcement officially comes, it's definitely going to be a game that's not anything like any of the other games that I've seen on any platform within the crypto communities. It's not another crypto cave. It's not a My Hero clone. It's something that's very unique, and I think will grow its own community. Whether or not they're already involved in BOID and doing the World Community Grid research that we're doing, or whether they're coming into BOID or some other, from some other portal, I guess, or some other way. I definitely think that it is going to be a very interesting game.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. We noticed there's a lot of amazing building going on in the Uplift world. Actually, the BOID team has literally set the bar and led the way for all the other builders in the Uplift world. So is that going to be the primary base of the game, or is the game outside of that?
From what I understand, the final game will be outside of that, but what is happening in Uplift, definitely the thought, the spirit, and the themes that are in much of the BOID Uplift are, I guess, to be translated over, or to be expected to be represented in some way within the game.
Okay, got it. And are other communities going to be able to add rewards to the game?
From what I understand, anybody that is currently a team in BOID, there's a whole bunch of them. I would hate to name one and forget one, so give me 1 second. Let me hop on the app and see the teams that we have, so everyone gets fairly named. But we've got, I'm not logged in, I can't see it. That's okay. Wax is there, Tribes is there, EOS Nation is there, Bigger, EOS Detroit, CSX, Karma, Uplift Nation Discussions. All of those current teams, from at least the last discussion I remember having directly about this, those teams will convert into teams in the game in some fashion, and will continue to be teams in the game.
All right. Well, that's cool. And, you know, tell us, for those who don't know, and just to review it anyway, would you tell us about BOID's science focus? I mean, is this the primary activity of BOID, is the science experiments, or how do you look at the primary focus? And then tell us a little bit more about the science part, how everyone can help.
So absolutely, BOID has many aspects. There's definitely a community aspect. BOID uses Berkeley's Open Infrastructure Network Computing, which has been around, I'm not even sure anymore. I remember I used it, I'm dating myself, but in high school, which would have been the late to mid 90s, when I was king of the heap for a couple of groups because I had an early dual core Pentium 4. So I know the Berkeley software has been around for going on almost 30 years, I think, at this point in time. We use it as our kind of our, I guess, our work at that point in time, or still at this point in time. And it runs work packets from the Berkeley open infrastructure. Currently, I think the main focus is the COVID research, and I think smash childhood cancer are the big ones. Our workload shifts based on what the World Community Grid Group is doing in any particular or given time period. They serve up the work units to us. They're downloaded through the infrastructure to our computers. Runs right now, we only run on CPUs because it's what World Community Grid is doing. We serve those up, we put the work forth and upload them, and then within usually 3 to 4 days, we see the work effort reflected in the form of power to basically our BOID accounts, and that's what generates our BOID power and generates the BOID tokens that we get. So there's teams, we've run seasons before that had rewards that were anywhere from, I think it was EOS Nation, maybe it was Tribes, gave away physical goods, t-shirts. One of the teams gave away the KISS board game to other groups like Discussions. Discussions gave away several thousand of their tokens, which at the time were just coming out. Wax has given away tokens. Every team has had different rewards for their team. Some based on the amount of power you had throughout a given period. Others have been based on length of time with the group. There have been all kinds of different ways. BOID has had a lot of interesting ways for team leaders or team captains to reward their teams throughout, I think, 4 seasons now. I think, yeah, 4 seasons. 4 seasons.
Wow, that's amazing. So is the first step for someone who wants to participate and help support this global effort to add their device?
So right now, absolutely. Adding their device, joining from the BOID website. It's a pretty simple app. I've run it on, I think, I've run it on Mac. So I've run it on Mac, I've run it on PC. I'm currently running it on Linux. There's very, very simple instructions to get it up and going for all of them. Windows will take you to GitHub. You can get an executable there. Then you just create your account, plug it in. It'll download the first couple of units, and within usually about 72 hours, you'll start to see your power grow. The way that BOID works, your power grows for about 2 weeks. Once you start, you'll see it grow, and then it'll stabilize and stay at that week. John's had all kinds of interesting names for what he calls that creep. I think the current name is your loading time for your power to kind of equalize. And there may or may not be some NFTs coming soon. In fact, there are. I just don't know when they're going to be implemented, that will allow you to take like your excess power and store it, and then possibly either gift it or trade it to another individual to give them power for a set amount of time in case they don't want to mine, or in case they don't have the hardware or capabilities. I've had friends in here in the States that have told me the reason they won't get involved in BOID or any crypto is because they're paying 10 or 12 cents a kilowatt, and regardless of what their returns are, it doesn't make sense for them. With these NFTs that are coming that are going to be, I guess, BOID batteries, it may make sense for someone who it didn't make sense for to get in the game.
Oh, well, when you are in there, so is it taking extra resources on your computer? Like, does it slow it down at all?
No, well, on all of my computers, I haven't seen any significant slowdown. I still game. I still have 3 or 4 Eve clients open at a time, and mine will run. the backbone, the Berkeley Open Infrastructure Network piece has been very smart, or it's smarter than it used to be. It knows when the computer's in use. If it sees compute workloads over a certain threshold, which can be set through the advanced features in that program, it'll throttle down. Innately, it's set so if it sees a workload that is not from the program more than 50%, 50%, it'll turn itself off until it sees the workload stop. So if you're gaming or doing something that you know is going to eat up a lot of CPU or become CPU intensive, it's smart enough to basically pause until it sees a non-gaming workload.
That's fantastic. That's really good to know. So any computer then can participate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really good. So if this staking I'm looking at here, this is what you were talking about, I think. I mean, everyone's into staking, so I think it's worth just drilling down on this a little bit. It's the latest thing is staking. So so you get your power by participating, right? And then you can stake it, right? Is that how that works?
So kind of. So your power stays with you innately. Your power, if you go over to the tab that says staking or app.boid/staking, there's a calculator in there that will tell you what your daily earnings would be. I think something like an average CPU may make 2,000 or 3,000 power. 3,000 power, for sake of argument, would make about 130 BOID per day without any staking rewards. That 3,000 power, though, would allow you to stake up to, the numbers will vary as there's more or less involvement in the community. There's a lot of math in the background for stake difficulty, stake multiplier, stake ratios, and power difficulty. I'm definitely not a big math guy. That's one of the reasons I took Python to get my degree and get out of college, rather than taking calculus or one of the other fun maths to get out. But there's a beautiful calculator in there that lets you play with numbers, slide them around. Currently, I'm seeing with about 400,000 BOID staked and 3,000 power, you'd make about 400 BOID a day, right? Depending on whether you're going to stake them in or out or not, that becomes BOID that just you can put in your wallet, becomes liquid, and you can move it around like anything else. The more, of course, the more you stake and the less the stake in the community as a whole, the more valuable your stake is going to become.
All right. And then the worker fund, it looks like it might be self-sustaining. Is that true?
That's pretty close. There are thresholds. Again, John's a lot smarter with all the math stuff than I will ever be. But if, let's say, you stopped mining tomorrow and you let your power fall to 0, but you kept your, in the example, 400,000 BOID staked, that stake would go unpowered, or the BOID would go unpowered, and then it would fall into the staked BOID, or the reward that we'd get from the staked BOID going to the worker fund. And there's other ways too. If you had, for sake of argument, I think max right now is 7.1 million-ish max BOID stake per individual. If you had 7 or 8 million, or if you had 8 million BOID at that point in time staked, that extra staked BOID's earnings would also go to the worker fund. We have people out there that have tens of millions of BOID stake as well, and that BOID feeds into the worker fund daily.
Wow, that's a great model, really, and certainly worth exploring for the new DACs. I mean, initially, they're probably focused on setting up the basics, but it seems like this would be a really great strategy to keep replenishing a pool like that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I was drawn to about it was I've been in games, I've been in groups, I've been in all kinds of things where initial interest can be very high, and as attrition happens, things kind of become orphaned. And one of the things that I loved about this model when I read about it in John's white paper was the staked or the unpowered staked BOID isn't necessarily orphaned. It's still doing something for the community, and it's not necessarily unaccounted for. It's not worthless to the community. Or if someone was philanthropic and wanted to, buy a million BOID, stake it, and walk away and see what it did to the community too. There's that thought that it still can contribute to the community and do a greater good than not, not being in circulation or just being locked away somewhere and never seen again.
Right. Well, let's see if we have any questions from the audience. I see we have some participants here. Let me pull up the chat and see if we have anything I'm not seeing.
Maybe I explained everything so well that there are no questions.
I think, yeah, the big question is going to be, how can I participate? So, does anyone want to jump in? All right. Well, if there's anything, pop it in the chat. Well, great overview, says Dwayne. Thank you. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I know the BOID team is absolutely beloved in our communities. We have been chatting with them for various reasons over the past year since the last Hackathon, and they've been super supportive of the Crown community. Yep, Dwayne says BOID leading the way in creating value. So we know the team is absolutely beloved. So it's just great to get to see and hear from you about all of this and how BOID is a DAC. I mean, honestly, I didn't realize BOID was a DAC until we were planning this, but it makes absolute sense, and I really love the way it's all set up here.
The thing that I've noticed in the time that I've been with BOID or using BOID is that John is an extraordinarily smart man, and he has a lot of foresight. It seems to me that often when I look at other cryptos or other things that are starting to merge, I go, wait, did BOID already start doing that, or wasn't BOID implementing that already? And more often than not, it seems that John and his team or the BOID team is leading the way in many ways.
Yes, yes. I have to say, John is brilliant and been a great resource to other members of DAC communities. And I mean, I can say for Crown for sure, we're very grateful for everything he's done as part of that community as well. So it's great to sort of see backstage and see how everything runs and how it's all set up here, and extend that to the rest of the Hackathon community. So I thank you for that. And we will remind people how they can add their devices and participate in this global effort and get updates about all the good that is doing. That's a really awesome thing that's happening. And for those who aren't aware of it, I think this is a great time to jump in and become part of the BOID community and set up a team if you don't have one, or join one of the teams that's already there. And I'm going to go join one after we hang up here. So I know I've seen it for a while. I'm not sure I actually signed up. I realized looking at it. So I'm going to go do that too. Thanks to you. Yeah, so if there's any other questions or if there's anything you want to add, feel free to hop in now. Otherwise, we will wrap it for the hour and take a quick break before we come back for the open hour. Anyone who wants to hop in and join the Zoom and just chat with each other, the room will be open for an hour. And then after that, we will get to talk about Crownlandia in the Uplift world and elsewhere and what that's going to look like and see that. So we also have a full day tomorrow where coincidentally we'll be talking about governance. Speaking of DACs, what a coincidence at Hackathon. But we'll have some fun time to get together to hear some thoughts about governance and talk about DAC Factory a little bit tomorrow, and also do How Will You Run Your Planet with David in anticipation of governance for alien worlds. And then in the afternoon tomorrow, we have a treat of some people on teams that have been hosting events in Second Life, and they're going to share about how they've done it and how they've been really successful. So we have a fun afternoon and tomorrow, and it continues on throughout next week when the hackathon kicks in, and hopefully everyone's inspired, motivated. Also, I just want to share that on the 20th, we're going to have a hippie dance party. So that's on the calendar too. Be sure to save the date for that. And check the schedule linked at dacathon.com. Also, if you register, you don't have to register to attend the sessions. Of course, anyone can attend the sessions. But if you have registered, then you'll also get the NFT drops, which are coming in a couple of days starting for the registrants. And of course, those communities that want to share NFTs, as many have already offered, are welcome to do that for us to share. And we will let you know as soon as those are going out. But it's been a great.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure we plug the BOID NFTs as well. I just put a link in the chat, and they're doing a little raffle for the NFTs. And rumor has it you'll need maybe one of these for the game. I'm not sure if I have it right, but either way, support BOID and check out the Atomic Assets link to get yourself a BOID NFT.
I really like it. Sex.
Oh. All right, so these are on the auction. We have a couple now. And it's tempting to get one right now live, but okay. Sales, the auction. Oh, look, one's in 5 hours, one's in 7. Ooh, that's neat. Be cool, part of it. Oh, that's. It looks like they've been doing pretty well, though. Look at.
Yeah, super well. Hey, Nicholas, just mute your mic for a sec.
Here. Got it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I love those moving. By the way, what's the story with the logo? I hear there's a story behind the logo.
As far as I know, it goes to birds, and it's some sort of math thing. I'm not the math guy, but BOID is some sort of term for computer modeling of birdoid objects or something.
Oh, wow. All right, there's a real behind
bird,
it.
Yeah. Again, John is light years smarter than I am in many ways. And he's always had big thoughts, big ideas, and as far as I understand, it's big math problems. So no wonder he's so good at what he does.
Right, there's a method behind that, and right. So the social computer, that's a really interesting term too, and tell me a little bit about that. That's referencing the people being involved in the research, right?
Correct. So using that Berkeley open infrastructure piece and the World Grid community, We are a social computer. I don't remember where we placed last time in the overall, global scope of all the research being done. But I believe last time we talked about it, we were in like the top 100 for compute cycles put forward to I think it was childhood cancer at the time, and now it's COVID. So it's again a community of people using their compute resources to make a computer that does this. And there's no guarantee in the future that there aren't other platforms or other ways that we use the BOID platform to do that social computing. But right now, COVID definitely is in the front of everyone's minds. What is it? A year and a day since lockdown started, and then before that, yeah, I think we're a year and a day in, pretty close. But again, I trust John. I know that as we go forward, there will be other uses for what we're doing, and it's a worthwhile endeavor. Otherwise, my computers would just be sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Tell me about this Albert Einstein here, because I see there's none available.
I don't remember. I think that was is that the current one or is that the older one? I think that's the current one, isn't it?
I wonder if I can tell. I'm not sure I can tell here. But there's none on the market.
So, and it may be a future one that's coming. If I remember correctly from several meetings ago, the Albert Einsteins were, I don't think they were for sale. I think they were something that was either earned through some sort of reward or donation through BOID, or earned with someone's sweat equity put into BOID. I don't have any of them, so I don't remember, or I don't know what they do specifically, but I think they gave you like a 2% staking bonus to your account, or will give you 2% staking bonus to your account.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw that on there. This is cute. It says Marilyn Monroe says to Albert Einstein, "If you and I were to marry, our kids would be the smartest and most beautiful in all the world." And Einstein says, "What if they get my looks and your brain?" Very cute, very cute. All right, well, we'll be looking for those, see where we can, what we need to do to get those. We're going to have to watch, too, to see what you all are minting in case there's a hint of the game coming.
I'm sure there's a lot of information that can be pulled through what's being minted. I think there's a lot of secret hints right now in Uplift world as well, if someone were a sleuthy kind of detective.
Yeah, all right, we'll be on that. We'll be on that for sure. That's one of the best kept secrets in the community is the game. Nicholas says hello to everyone. Good. Hello, Nicholas. All right, well, anything else we should know as a community wanting to support you?
I mean, I don't know what people would want to know. I didn't get any questions, so I must have satisfied a lot of them. But the again, not every blockchain, not every technology, every coin has to be about just existing. I think that BOID has shown, or at least carved its niche, that it's out there for the greater good. I can't think of anything more worthwhile than scientific endeavor. And I think with John leading the way, I think that BOID is on its way to bigger and greater things constantly.
I believe it. It's a good team, a trustworthy team, and respected by the community. I think we'll all be in support of whatever chooses to inspire us to do along the way. So, and it's been great meeting you. It's our first time meeting today, so I'm really glad to get to know you as well. And everyone has a chance to meet you and hear you. Most of our viewers will be watching online. So if there are questions, tell us your Telegram group.
Oh gosh, the Telegram group is just the right. Let me give you the right one because I'm in like 5 for Boyd right now. I think it's BOID.com official. You'll see a beautiful little Boyd symbol there, white with blue background. Everyone's welcome to it. We answer everyone's questions as fast as we can. If people need help getting stuff built or spun up, we've done that. I don't know if I'm technically the main contributor right now to the GitHub for the Linux distro of it, but I've been working on updating and fixing things. So somebody in the community will have the knowledge that they need to get them up and going, no matter what, because we've got a great community. You know, it's not just the people that get on the shows that help. I think everybody in it is in it to help. You know, see the community flourish.
Great. Well, we'll pop over and ask about the Einstein cards too, maybe. Good. Well, thank you again so much for joining us today. We're going to save the recording and upload that as soon as we can, and we'll share it with your Telegram as well as soon as it's uploaded, so you'll know. And hope you'll be around, participate in some of the other sessions this week too.
Absolutely. I think I became the voice because I failed to speak up at a meeting. So I'm sure I'll see you guys around a lot.
Perfect. That's great. And there are a lot of new DACs forming. So being one of the wise elders of the DAC community, it will be very valuable if you can hang around the next couple days and help the new DAC creators on their journey too.
Absolutely. I'm always willing to give out my knowledge and get people up and going. I definitely think that crypto is the future. I don't know what crypto is the future, but I definitely think that something will be, you know, going forward the way to go, because it's definitely light years ahead of paper money.
Great. We are all looking forward to that. So good. All right. Well, we will. We thank you again for joining, and we will leave the room open for those who want to chat amongst ourselves for the next hour, and then we will welcome Greg after that. So y'all are welcome to stay around and make yourselves at home, and we'll end with the recording for now.